Hello everybody, my name is Richard Vigorelli and I am your guide for everything Chinese medicine. And I set it all up so us Westerners can figure it out. Today we have the second in a 5-part series about the mind and the way Chinese medicine regards it. So we're going to look at this time around the aspect of you called the Yi. That is spelled Y-I in pinyin, or that's that weird language that doesn't make sense because it has English letters and Chinese sounds anyway. Moving on. It's basically analogous to thought. Okay? It resides in the organ called the spleen. That is your digestive system. We'll get to that in a minute. And it is your ability to understand things, to internalize things, and to relay things. Whether you are talking, as I'm doing, gesturing, and writing, or dancing, or painting, or anything that requires communication of some fashion. Without this, we are basically slugs. Okay? Because this is your ability to remember where food is, how to get it, and if it's actually good or not. It is your ability to understand if the big, hairy, snarling creature over there is a friend or not. Okay? It's kind of important. Now, it's based on your ability to digest food. So, in Western medicine, we've actually very recently figured out that what happens in your belly will influence what happens in your head. It is called the digestive brain link. And meanwhile, everybody in the Chinese medicine disciplines is going, yeah, we've known that for a while. Try to keep up. Do you want me to go slower for you? Okay? So this is a thing. The spleen is responsible for your ability to think. Okay? It is also representative of logic. So if you are having issues with understanding what information is coming in and how to communicate stuff back out, nobody's understanding you whatsoever, you might have a spleen problem. I know I've had that happen more than once. Might have it happen today. Who knows? So, the way we treat this in Chinese medicine is we treat the spleen. And remember, the spleen is your digestive system. Okay? It's just what we call it in Chinese medicine. It's just called the spleen. It's shorthand. Don't worry about it. Okay? So, it is, again, ability to digest, use, and disseminate. Okay? So I'm willing to bet if you are having trouble with the spirit of thought, then you're also having some digestive issues. I'm willing to bet that food is sitting like a rock in your stomach. You're always hungry but no appetite, or you have no appetite but everything looks good and you're just all kinds of topsy-turvy, etc., etc., etc. You can fill in the blanks there. It's also why when you're doing a lot of mental heavy work, say taxes, it's tax season here in the US right now as I'm recording this, you tend to get a little bit hungry and you're craving something very specific. You want something sweet and sugary, or very, very heavy carbs. That is because all carbohydrates are sugar. They all break down into sugar. Your body knows how to do that. It's really good at it. Okay? It's the only thing your brain runs on is glucose, which is sugar. And it's a component in literally all carbohydrates. All of them. All carbohydrates are just a bunch of glucose strung together, and that's it. Okay? So, your brain craves that. Now the interesting thing is it only needs about 10% or so of what you are going to consume. So let's say you're sitting there and doing some algebra homework. Think back to high school if you're older than this. And all of a sudden things aren't making sense anymore and I want a cookie. So you go down and hop into the pantry and pull out some cookies and take one and eat it. It's amazing. So you take 5 and head back up, go to work. 10 minutes later, you're back down and you've now eaten the entire sleeve. That might have been me. Anyway, you only needed about 1/10 of that. The reason why you really liked it has nothing to do with addiction, okay? It has to do with your body saying, you know, a long time ago, we needed all this sugar and we need to figure stuff out. And it took us a real long time before we could get food again. We've got access to it right now. We may want to carb load just to be safe. Okay? Now, when we were running around on the Serengeti, that was a really cool idea. It's why we're alive today. But when you're in, I don't know, Dayton, Ohio, in the suburbs, and you're doing taxes and or a pre-write for a story, you might be hosed. Okay? So, again, thought has to do with digestion. You need to feed it. You also need to exercise it. Additionally, it's going to relate to your arms and your legs. Okay? If you go work out, if you go for a walk, you'll actually think better. Believe it or not. Time tested. Ask any famous academic out there. Read any biography of any dude from Cambridge University or Oxford or Harvard, anything. And one of the things they loved to do when they were stuck with something is go for a walk, because it helped them order their thoughts. You might not know this, but I'm actually a writer, and when I'm having issues with some plot points, like I'm not quite sure how to make things fit together, I know what I want to do, but I can't make it work, I will go for a walk. Just go walk around the neighborhood for an hour or two and get some exercise. I'll sit and talk to myself. I just kind of articulate what I want to happen. If I just sit and muse about it in my head, usually nothing gets done and I tend to just spin. But if I talk about it, then I get to hear, no, that idea is dumb. Let's do this one instead. You know what would be really cool? Things like that. Okay? All that will bubble up. So, thought, the yi, resides in the spleen. One before this was the will and resides in the kidney. These two do work together. Okay? If you are overloading thought, such as you're doing way too much mentally taxing work, you're worrying about stuff, trying to piece things together in your head, it's also going to damage your will. You're going to develop anxiety, you're going to potentially develop depression, and you are potentially going to burn out. You're not going to be able to think anymore, and your brain's going to turn to mush. So, one of the things I recommend doing is when you're staring at something and it stops making any sense whatsoever, you can't remember what the last thing was that you read, close, set it to the side, and do something else. I recommend nothing. Just let your brain rest. Let it relax. It'll be okay, I promise. I understand you got a deadline, okay? But you're not getting anything done this way, okay? All you're going to do, if you do get anything done, it's going to be of poor quality, and then what do you have, okay? So, about all I've got for that. If you're new to the channel, hit that big red subscribe button down below. I think it's down here somewhere, maybe here, I don't know. There might be a bell beside it. Go ahead and hit that if you would. Feel free to leave a like, comment, share. Helps with views. Thank you to the people who said I deserve more views. Bless you. Also, if you want to get in touch with me, feel free to visit my website at vigintmed.com. That stands for Vigorelli Integrated Medicine.com. You can shoot me an email there, and if you're in the Salt Lake area, you can even schedule an appointment. So I'll be back later with something else, guys. Probably going to be the spirit of the liver is what I'm thinking. So I'll see you then, guys. Bye.